Hello, everyone. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and humorous topic, the 14 weird things Americans believe about Australia. You might be surprised to learn that many Americans don't really understand Australia or Australian culture, and they have some truly unbelievable misconceptions. So, what are these misunderstandings, and what's the real story? Let's find out. Number 1. What month is it in Australia right now? One of the most common misconceptions is that Americans think the seasons and months in Australia are completely reversed compared to the US. This confusion stems from the fact that Australia lies in the southern hemisphere, while the US is in the northern hemisphere. When it's winter up north, it's summer down south, and vice versa. For example, at Christmas time, Americans are bundled up enjoying a snowy winter, while Australians are hitting the beach in summer weather. Shorts and flip-flops, BBQs and all. That contrast surprises many Americans, and some even assume Australia's seasons are the exact opposite year-round. In reality, Australians are well acquainted with their own seasons and months, just like any other Southern Hemisphere country. They simply experience warm Christmas barbecues rather than snowball fights, number 2. You've never had good wine, have you? Another misconception is that Americans think Australia can't produce good wine. This probably comes from cheap Australian wines that have flooded the U.S. market, leading some to believe all Aussie wine is low quality. The truth, however, is the opposite. Australia is among the world's top wine producers, renowned regions. Like Barossa Valley, Margaret River, and Coonawarra consistently craft award-winning reds and whites. Australians take great pride in their wine culture, and iconic bottlings such as Penfolds Grange are celebrated globally. Australian wines stand out thanks to diverse grape varieties, unique climates, and innovative winemaking techniques. Believing Australia lacks quality wine is simply off the mark. Number 3. Your English is really good. A fun misunderstanding is that some Americans are surprised Australians speak English, sometimes even assuming Aussies speak Austrian. This stems from differences in accent, slang, and vocabulary. Though both countries share English, there are clear pronunciation and word usage differences. For instance, Americans say car, whereas Aussies might call it a ute, utility, vehicle. In the U.S., thongs are flip-flops. In Australia, thongs are underwear, and flip-flops are called thongs. Despite these quirks, Americans and Australians readily understand each other. It's really just a matter of accent and idiom. Aussie English tends to sound softer and more clipped to American ears. Number 4. I love bloomin' onion. At Outback Steakhouse in the U.S., the bloomin' onion R, a large deep-fried onion appetizer, is billed as an Australian specialty. But in truth, it's not a traditional Australian dish. This idea originated in Texas, where the bloomin' onion was invented as a signature dish for the U.S. restaurant chain. Many Americans assume it's a Aussie classic, but most Australians have never heard of it. Australia's true culinary icons include a great barbecue, hearty meat pies, and the freshest seafood, none of which resemble a giant fried onion flower. Number 5. Australia is hot all year round, right? Another widespread belief is that Australia is always scorching. While the country is famous for sunny beaches and a warm climate, parts of Australia, especially mountainous regions, experience cold winters. In places like Melbourne and Tasmania, winter temperatures can dip below 0°C, and snow falls in alpine areas. Even the Blue Mountains near Sydney have an oceanic climate with chilly winters. But many Americans only picture Australia's iconic hot, sandy beaches, so they assume it never gets cold. In reality, Australia's climate ranges from desert to rainforest, and winter skiing is common in alpine resorts like Thredbo and Perisher. So yes, Australia can be cold, and even snowy. Number 6. Is your dad a real-life Crocodile Dundee? Hollywood's depiction of Australia, notably the film Crocodile Dundee, painted Aussies as rugged outback survivalists. Paul Hogan's character, is a cane-toad-spearing, crocodile-fighting bushman who travels to New York City and bewilders the locals. That movie cemented the Aussie wild man stereotype for many Americans, especially older generations. In truth, it's a caricature. Modern Australians live in cutting-edge cities, work office jobs, and participate fully in global arts, science, and business. The outback adventurer is just one small cultural slice. Number 7. Did your government really confiscate all your guns? After the tragic Port Arthur massacre in 1996, Australia enacted one of the largest gun buyback programs ever, requiring citizens to turn in many firearms. This is often contrasted with America's Second Amendment debates. Many Americans view Australia's gun control as an infringement on personal freedom. But among Australians, the policy is largely supported. Studies show it significantly lowered gun-related violence. It's a showcase of how two allied nations can approach public safety quite differently. Number 8. What on earth is a cleansing ale? Americans unfamiliar with Aussie slang can be puzzled by the term cleansing ale, which Aussies jokingly use to describe a beer that helps them unwind after work. The word cleansing here is tongue-in-cheek. It doesn't literally cleanse you, but rather washes away the day's stress. In Australia, grabbing a beer with mates is a staple of social life. People bond over pints, not complicated health drinks. So when Americans hear cleansing ale, they might look for a special brew or a health tonic. In reality, it's just Aussie humor at work. Number 9. You must have hugged 1 million koalas. Thanks to tourism ads and wildlife documentaries, many Americans picture Australians frequently cuddling koalas. Yet in real life, wild koalas are protected and rarely interact with people. Koalas are easily stressed and can suffer if handled. While visitors can meet koalas at wildlife sanctuaries under expert supervision, ordinary Australians don't regularly hold koalas. The cuddly koala image is a promotional icon more than a daily occurrence. Number 10. Do you know Nick Snell? He's Australian. A charming misconception is that Australia is so small everyone knows everyone. Do you know Nick Snell? He's Aussie. This likely arises from Australia's smaller population compared to the U.S. and the close-knit stereotype. But Australia's landmass is vast, and most people live in major cities like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. It's not a tight village. Many Aussies have never met people outside their own city or state. The idea that everyone's connected is a sweet but inaccurate image. These 10 amusing misconceptions reveal how cultural differences and Hollywood tropes shape the American view of Australia. Although the U.S. and Australia share a close alliance, their climates, accents, wildlife, and even drinking customs can be worlds apart. If you're an American planning a trip down under, now you know to expect warm Christmas barbecues, world-class wines, laid-back slang, and maybe a friendly koala selfie. But don't be surprised if Google Maps shows you snowy slopes or chilly nights. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this exploration, please like, subscribe, and share your favorite Aussie myth in the comments. See you next time for more cultural deep dives.